Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name's John Hunt. Another camera this week and changing tack slightly away from SLRs, etc. I think this is the first time I've covered point and shoot, and we're looking at the Olympus XA2. So here it is, the Olympus XA2. It's probably worth just quickly clarifying what I mean by point and shoot camera. All the cameras that I have shown so far in my series have required the photographer to actually create the image, if you like, by setting the correct exposure, whether that be by combining the film speed, the shutter speed, the aperture setting, the focus, or any sort of combination of those. There is, knowledge and skill involved. Without belittling point and shoots, that's all kind of taken out of your hands, and they are exactly what they say. You point it at your subject and you press the button, and the camera, brains of the camera, if you like, does everything else for you. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people start with these, and I do use this one quite a bit. Simply the fact that it produces some cracking images, even though it's tiny. As you can see, I haven't got particularly big hands, and it is quite tiny. But yeah, it just works. You don't have to worry too much. So originally there was the XA. Now that was classed as a point and shoot, but to be honest with you, technically it wasn't. It was a rangefinder camera. If you're unsure what I mean by rangefinder, if you check out the video, which I'll link up there, on my Zorky 4, I explain rangefinder cameras in that video. The XA2 though, very much point and shoot, no focusing required. All right, focusing is automatic. You have a selector switch here with 3 zones, which I'll come back to. There is a light meter built in, so it automatically sets the shutter speed and the aperture for you. All you have to do is press the button. So it's a 35mm camera, so the same films as the SLR. Unfortunately, this one does have a film in it at the moment, so I can't open the back and show you, but exactly the same as an SLR. We have a knob here for winding on, and we have a spool here to take the film back into the canister once you're done. On top we have frame count, so how many shots you've taken, 12 so far on this one, although I honestly can't remember which film is in here at the moment or how many exposures it's got. We have our shutter release button, so a nice big red button. That's the only control you really need to worry about. It is very sensitive on these. I mean, most cameras that I've shown you in the past, you have to press the button. This really is just a case of touching it, which unfortunately has meant that I've occasionally mistakenly taken a shot of the sky or up my nose or something like that. But yeah, once you get used to that, it's very nice. Don't press them too hard, literally just feather-light touch. So the camera is protected by this cover, which is commonly referred to as a clamshell, and it does a couple of things. If I were to open this up, that has not only uncovered both the lens and the viewfinder, but it's turned the camera on, and once the clamshell is closed again, the camera is turned off, which is good to save batteries. It also means you're not going to press this by mistake whilst the clamshell is closed. It also means, of course, that you aren't going to leave it closed by mistake, because there's no viewfinder to look through until you've opened it up. So that's quite nice. On the front then, the lens here is a Zuko. It's a 35mm lens, which is a bit confusing because that's the film as well. Ranges from f3.5 to f22, but like I say, that's entirely automatic. You don't need to set it. You can see just about here the light meter as well, which obviously does the aperture priority automatic exposure. Shutter speeds range from 2 seconds to 1/750th of a second. So quite a nice little range for a neat little camera like this. Don't know if you can make out, I'll zoom in when I edit this. We've got our ASA slider here, ranges from 25 to 800. So again, a good choice of films that you can put in the camera. The XA, the predecessor to this, originally came out in 1979. The XA2 was produced a year later, and it's a cheaper version because it's no longer a rangefinder, but this 3-zone focusing. So the way it works, basically, I've got a little slider switch here. The top with the mountains on is basically the sort of for subjects that are far away. All right, anything over about 7 or 8 meters up to infinity, and that's the setting that you want. Middle setting then, which is kind of the standard one that you're going to use most of the time, is within a few meters in front of you. And then if you're doing sort of full face portraits, you can put this on the bottom setting, which is sort of 1.2 meters ish, something like those lines. And there's quite a bit of overlap, so it's not too much of a problem if you forget. Once you close the clamshell, it'll reset it back self to the middle setting, which again is quite handy, I think. On the bottom, we have a little hole for the tripod mount. We have a battery cover, and it's the SR44, the little, what do you call them? Pen batteries, the little cell batteries, basically. A couple of those. And like I say, the fact that it turns itself off when the clamshells close means they do last for quite a long time. We have a release for the film to be wound back once you're done. And a little switch here does a couple of things. We have a battery check, which hopefully you can hear. A little bleep means the battery is working. If you put it up fully, we're on self-timer mode, which I'm going to waste a shot and show you, just so you can see. So the release here, see, just touch it, and now we're on the timer. Let's hold that so you can see the shutter, hopefully, in the lens. Oh, about to go off. There we go. All right, so a complete waste of a shot, but hey, all for the sake of the YouTube channel. Now I've taken the shot, I can wind that on. So, and you can see now we're on number 13. Well, hopefully it's between 12 and 14. And so that's kind of it. There aren't much, there aren't much to these cameras. Point and shoots come in a few different shapes and sizes. I'll have another one to show you in a few weeks' time. But don't dismiss them if you're either learning photography or even if you're a professional photographer. There's a place for these. Like I say, they're so small and neat. They seem to last an awful long time, and they work. And as I say, this lens here, I would argue this is actually a better lens than is in its predecessor, the XA, which was a more expensive camera. They're pin sharp, and they just take lovely pictures. There are accessories available for them. Let me just close this up. I've got here the A11 flash, which is one of a few features that can be added to this camera. It's really nice and simple because what it does is actually attaches to the side, which is, oops, make sure the screw goes in. Now that's attached to the camera, it actually all becomes one part. So if I open this up again now, and you'll see there's a little tiny flash lever here. And now we have, I've no battery in the flash at the moment. It takes one AA battery. But if the battery was working, this would pop up and light up when it's ready. And it would then obviously have a flash built in. Rather nice, still very neat and small. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I take this around a lot and I use it a lot. They're great cameras. Well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed looking at a point and shoot camera. I've got an offering from Canon, which I'll show you in a future video. Just really wanted to thank everybody for sticking with me and liking my videos and commenting. Bit of a experiment this week without any music. It was suggested to me that it was a bit distracting. I quite liked it, but there you go. I've tried it without music this week. Perhaps you could let me know what you think in the comments below. But other than that, thank you very much again for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time.